Hey everyone. All right, waiting for the live video to start. Might as well fix my hair. No time like the present, right? Um, okay. Close on. All right. So Facebook's thinking about launching. Hello, I'm live. Hey everyone. Hi. Off to a rough start, but that's okay. Hello. If you're new to me, you might not know who I am. I'm Sherry Capella. I'm a Christian life coach for weight loss, and I go live every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 12 o'clock noon to talk to you about weight loss and to give you all of the tips and tricks and the things that I never had anybody sharing with me when I was stuck and unable to lose weight as a middle aged woman. So, you may not know this, but I have a Christian life coaching for weight loss program, and it's called the Seeker's Method for Weight Loss. And it's where I bring together a Bible study and group coaching, and I interact with you every single day for 100 days. And it's not currently open, but I'm doing all of my live broadcasts right now, and I hope that you might tune into this one. So if you are somebody who is 35 years old and older and you are struggling to lose weight, I am here to help you. Because I remember being in your shoes and not knowing what everybody else was doing to lose the weight because I couldn't lose the weight. I was perpetually stuck in my fat pants, unable to get out of my own way because I constantly had temptation, defeat, overwhelm, self sabotage, all the things. I was addicted to alcohol. I drank wine way too much, all of the things. I had all these food stories, perpetually stuck in my fat pants, is the theme. So, we're going to talk about how to get free of this. So, what I'm going to be sharing with you today could possibly change your life. So, if you're so inclined, I would encourage you to take notes today. And I hope this is recording because Facebook's given me all kinds of conflicting results. So, I'm just going to keep going, okay? Because even if nothing else, I can just record this for my podcast. Let's talk about what I'm doing here. When I go live, you're joining me live behind the scenes as I record my podcast, thus the gigantic microphone in my face. I'm recording my podcast, which is called Even in Weight Loss with Sherry Capella. So let's just get to it, right? Because nobody likes all the chatter at the top of a video. All right, so here we go. All right, hold on. I'm going to click record. Give me just a sec. Hey, you, and welcome back to the podcast. So today we're going to be talking about three different things. I'm going to be giving you a couple of things that you need to know about fasting if you're a middle-aged woman who's been possibly very curious about it and wanting to fast. I'm going to give you two things that you need to understand about fasting in two different areas that you really need to lean in and listen to. And the third thing I'm going to give you is the third thing I'm going to give you is I'm going to be sharing some Christian life coaching for weight loss questions. And these questions could be the very thing that waken you up to whatever it is that is currently hidden to you, whatever it is that you're blinded and you can't actually see right now. That could be the very thing that's keeping you stuck in your weight loss journey. So let's start with the two areas of fasting first and foremost. So, okay. So the area of fasting, this is where you might want to take notes. Fasting, why do I encourage it? Fasting is one of those things that it's like the new age, the new buzzword that everybody's saying right now. Oh, fasting, IF, alternate day, OMAD, all the different fasting modalities. Everybody wants to fast. Nobody can do it. I get it. I used to be her. I used to not be able to fast at all when I did it on my own before the Seeker's Method, before God. And I'm just so excited for the women who are in the Seeker's Method because I teach them how to fast. And today I'm going to be teaching you a lot about fasting. So why I encourage fasting. Fasting, really, what you need to know about it, hold on. I don't know why I took these off in the first place, right? Let's talk about what you need to know about fasting. I encourage the women in the Seeker's Method to just see fasting as meal timing. It's just a series of small durations of time where you go without constantly being fed. It's just small pockets of time where you have no food. I mean, I want you to think about this. When do you ever really kind of go without food, right? When have you ever really felt and know what hunger feels like in your body? Fasting is so amazing because it's just where we're timing your meals, and I'm helping you to see why it's important. Let's talk a little bit about why it's important. Well, I'll tell you in a minute, and that has to do with hormones. But let's talk a little bit about what fasting is not, okay? Fasting is not starvation. So many of my clients, especially those who work with me on a VIP level, are really concerned because they might see fasting as starvation. And here's what I want to say about fasting. When you fast, and like you do it the way that I teach the women in the Seekers Method, it's a choice, okay? I'm helping you to time your meals because timing your meals regulates your hormones, your hunger signals, and all of the things. But when you fast, it's a choice. When it's not a choice, that is called starvation. So I want you to see those differences and know that it's not to be feared. Not everybody can just jump into fasting, nor should everybody fast. There are certain reasons and medical conditions. There are certain people who even take certain medications that might preclude them from fasting. So I'm not saying that it's for everybody, but what I want you to know is if you're in relatively good health and you're not taking all the medications and you're able to start stepping into timing your meals and not being so constantly fed, fasting is amazing. And this is what I want to tell you about the benefits of fasting. Fasting totally regulates your hormones. It completely regulates your hormones and makes weight loss possible. Not only does it make weight loss possible, but it clears up all of the side effects, most all of the side effects of menopause. I remember going through those seasons where I perpetually was plagued by night sweats and I had all of those things. I'm 48 years old right now, and that's all in my past. I mean, if you're struggling in perimenopause, stepping into this, and you have all the night sweats and things, that's a symptom of your body being out of alignment. If you want it to get back into alignment, fasting is a great way for you to start stepping into that. The other benefits of fasting is it teaches you, through regulating your hunger hormones, it teaches you to really know your hunger signals, to know when you're dealing with hunger or habit. Because for so many of us, we think we're hungry at a certain time because we're creatures of habit. This is the time we eat dinner. This is the time when we usually eat. Or power of suggestion. You see a TV commercial, you see a colleague at work making something, or you smell something, you're driving through and you smell the French fries. You know what I'm talking about. The next thing, the third thing, a benefit about fasting is it gives you an opportunity to truly step into self-control. And it does this because when your hormones regulate, your hunger hormones regulate, and all of the things start to balance out, you really start to become stronger and more well-versed in controlling your cravings. I could not fast. I couldn't control my hunger. I couldn't control my cravings or any of it until I learned how to fast. I couldn't do any of this, and I had no self-control until I learned to fast. And the way that I teach it in the Seekers Method is slow and steady. I do not recommend that you just start running today and run right toward fasting. It's not safe to do. That's why I encourage women to go slowly and steadily into fasting. The fourth thing, this is the thing that nobody ever told me about fasting, is the spiritual power that comes from fasting. I had no idea of the spiritual power that came to me until I started fasting. I never even knew how profoundly biblical it was. Jesus says in Matthew 6:16, that when you pray and fast, Jesus expected that we would pray and fast. And then in Matthew 17:21 and Mark 9:29, we see that the reason for fasting is for spiritual power, for spiritual warfare. Like, you don't even realize how much fasting was the way that God had designed us. I never knew that. I never knew. And since I've stepped into fasting, not only has weight loss been a byproduct, but spiritual strength has been a byproduct. And here's what I firmly believe about fasting. The reason that weight loss and life gain become a byproduct of fasting and stepping into meal timing is because it heals you spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And it sets you up for success so that you are no longer in a house of bondage to food. You are no longer mastered by your flesh. Let's talk a little bit about how to fast, okay, how to do it. And a lot of this comes right from the Seekers Method, what I teach so many of my clients. So the first thing I want to say about it is pick the right meal plan for your age and stage of life, because with the right meal plan, you'll be set up for success with fasting. The meal plans that I recommend, wholeheartedly recommend, is I recommend paleo, keto, and Whole30. None of them are easy. The way that I teach them is easy inside of the Seeker's Method, but those are the meal plan programs I recommend if you're somebody wanting to step into fasting. The second thing is to slowly step into becoming fat adapted before you ever even attempt to fast. In the Seeker's Method, I teach you how to do this slowly, and I show you how to change your fuel source from sugar and from yourself to fat and God. Your body starts to burn on all of the fat that you already have on it. And so it's an amazing thing. The third thing is know your hormones. And what I mean by this is know when your PMS is happening. So many of my clients don't know when their PMS is happening. We think the PMS is happening the week of our cycle, when the reality is it could be a week or 2 weeks before our cycle. And when it's your PMS cycle, be prepared. Because during that PMS window of time, you should expect to not be able to fast as easily. You should also expect that you might need a little bit more food during that particular period. So just extend grace to yourself. The fourth thing that you should know as you want to step into fasting is how to start slowly. So what does slowly starting into fasting look like? It means just start by pushing breakfast 15 minutes each day. Once you've started to get fat adapted, every day push breakfast out by like 15 minutes incrementally until you start to notice less and less hunger. And that's how you start to really know that your body is regulating its hormones correctly. And you're able to start getting attuned to your body and listen to it and discern whether or not you're experiencing hunger or you're experiencing a habit. So it just helps you to know your body a little bit better, because once you become fat adapted, this machine feels completely differently. So it just does not function the same. So that's why I ease all of my clients into fasting slowly. The fifth thing I want to say about fasting and how to do it is start by prioritizing God every single day. I mean, He's given you the gift of fasting and the fasting knowledge. I encourage you to prioritize your life around Him. This is something nobody ever told me. Prioritize your day around God and seek His guidance and His strength, even in weight loss. All right, so now we're going to switch gears here, and I want to talk to you about the next thing that you should be fasting from. The first thing was all of the physical sides of fasting. The next thing I want to talk about is some of the internal fasting things that you need to know about. So what I'm about to share with you is just as biblical as physical fasting. And the second thing that I want to share with you right now is that how to fast and why to fast from the wrong thoughts and words. All right, I'm going to share a scripture with you. Proverbs 13:3. This is exactly what it says, and this just could be powerful for somebody. Those who guard their lips preserve their lives, but those who speak rashly will come to ruin. And you know what I say to that? Even in weight loss. I mean, you could come to ruin if you do not guard your lips and preserve your life by speaking rashly, even in weight loss. It's so true. You probably have experienced it. I mean, the question I have for you is this. What do you say out loud while you're trying to lose weight? Are you constantly speaking negatively about like what you can't eat and how frustrated you are and how hungry you are? Think about because complaining the entire time you're trying to lose weight is just you worshiping the problem. Are you constantly focused on what you can't eat, and are you always complaining about it? Or maybe you're just constantly what I like to call think complaining. And here's something I want to say about think complaining. You've heard this in all of the, what do I want to call these people? Self-help arena. You know, you've heard this in the self-help arena. So many people saying, especially in the New Age movement, you've heard people say that if you think it, you can do it. You know what? What I have to say about that is even negatively. If you're thinking thoughts negatively, you're going to go in the direction of that in your life. So pay attention to what you're thinking and what you're saying. I used to do all of this when I was dieting. I never realized how my thoughts had created my feelings, which therefore affected and created my actions, and that was my results. That was me perpetually going to the lust of my flesh, the idols of my flesh, the things that were giving me every single thing that I wanted and nothing that I needed. And my results when I was living this way and talking this way and thinking this way, my results were self-sabotage and defeat and overwhelm and depression and being perpetually just stuck in weight loss, stuck in my fat pants. I was weak around temptation. That is basically talking about ruin that I just shared with you in Proverbs 13:3. So my encouragement for you today, beautiful, as you're trying to lose weight, is guard your thoughts and your words on your weight loss journey, because they matter as much as anything else matters. Start fasting from the negativity in your thinking. Start fasting a little bit more in the food once you're fat adapted. And if you need help, the Seeker's Method will be open in January. Come with me. I'll help you out with that. It's easier to do this, all of this, to think differently, to fast, all of this, when you're seeking God and you're seeking His strength and you're seeking His approval instead of the willpower of yourself and the world's approval all around you, even in weight loss. All right, so the third thing I want to share with you today is I want to give you some life coaching questions, okay? Because when you work with me as a Christian life coach, I don't just meet with you and say, this is what you do, and I try to make miniature versions of Sherry Capella running around the world. That is the furthest from my intention. When I went through my Christian life coaching certification training, when I went through that training, they taught me all about the power of asking questions, partnering with the Holy Spirit and my client so that we could together unlock what it is that God needs you to see and know that has been written on your heart right now so that you can get out of your own way, even in weight loss. So what I'm going to give you are just some samples that come from my new book. If you don't know this, you guys, I can't even believe this. I've written a new book. It's called The Seeker's Method for Weight Loss, and it's the workbook of journaling prompts. So I'm going to give you a few journaling prompts. Now, if you're somebody into self-care and you're serious about losing weight, you're going to write these questions down and you're going to get real with yourself and you're actually going to answer them, because I'm here to tell you that you getting alone and seeking God and prioritizing Him and doing all the things that I'm sharing with you, even just in this video, could be the difference maker in you getting free from the bondage that you're stuck in, even in your weight loss journey. So my first Christian life coaching for weight loss question for you is this, and you might need to come back and play this video a little bit more slowly. The first question is, what do I say to myself or even out loud that might cause me to doubt what God can do, even in weight loss? That's a powerful question. What do I say to myself or out loud that might cause me to doubt what God can do for me, even in weight loss? The second question is, what can I do when I catch myself having these negative thoughts? You know that answer. You might not just be seeing self-care as slowing down and answering that question, right? But because self-care is not just how your nails look. Self-care is really assessing where you are in life right now and how to get out of your own way and asking yourself the right questions so that you can just be prayerful and talk to God and come up with the right answers. I mean, that is how I got to this point at the age of 48. I want this same freedom for you, but it comes with having your eyes open to the truth of what's going on and getting real with yourself and pausing for a few minutes and assessing your current situation. All right, that was number 2. A little hyped up. Number 3, in what ways could my thinking change my outcome? Everything I just talked about is about your thinking and your talking. So in what ways could my thinking and even my talking change my outcome? I believe if you answer those 3 questions today, you might find yourself on the road to freedom. If you're somebody who is interested in the question components of my live, you might be interested in this workbook. It's full of all of the journaling prompts where I guide you through your weight loss journey, and I help you to get out of your own way. I help you to get unstuck from your current thought patterns. I help you to do what God's word says, which is to renew your mind, to transform your life, and to stop conforming to these dieting patterns that are in your head. That is all just the conditioning of this world. So if this sort of talk has resonated with you and you feel encouraged to start leaning into fasting and to pay attention and to start even fasting from the wrong words and the wrong thoughts, then you might want to hop over to wherever you listen to podcasts, Anchor, iTunes, I think it's called Apple Podcast now, I don't even know. Subscribe to my podcast. It's called Even in Weight Loss with Sherry Capella, and I give away all of the best Christian life coaching for weight loss tips there. Or you can catch me here every time I go live. I go live now on Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays. No, No, that's not right. Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining me live. Have a good day.